in prayer. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Dear Lord, thank you for letting us share this time with our parents of our youth, and thank you for the gifts you're bringing us to this day. Help us in this time of uncertainty, in this time of change, that we utilize those great graces from the gifts that we received at baptism and were strengthened by at confirmation, those gifts of wisdom and right judgment. And it seems now, especially fortitude, as we navigate this new and different and ever-changing time. We thank you that you are with us and Jesus is walking with us as we go through these days. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Again, thanks everyone. This meeting, many of you have been to an earlier confirmation meeting, maybe when your child was in 7th or 8th grade, and we were kind of going through the initial process. And of course, due to many things, this has gone through a change. And so we appreciate you sticking with us as we go through this change. A lot of this meeting is going to be of more of a general nature. I know I am a person who lives and dies by my calendar. Some dates and things we can give you today, some we cannot, because we are still waiting on the Archdiocese. They are working with us in this transition, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Before we start, I do want to talk a little bit about communication. It's a great and wonderful thing. And what we are discovering is that when many of you signed up for this meeting, you filled in that JOT form to RSVP. And as we started to send those emails out, some people didn't get them. Some people we noticed had a different email that was listed in the parish database at this point. And so what happens is that when we try and combine all of that, we may be using the right email address, we may be using the wrong email address, or we may be using an email address that you have, but you don't necessarily check. One of the things that we're going to be doing is going through all that information and maybe contacting you to see, out of these 3 email addresses that we have sent things to, which one you prefer. We're also, Colleen had sent out a 9th grade verification form. She's going to put that in the chat. And if anybody has questions along the way, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll get to all of that. If you haven't filled in the 9th grade verification form, we ask you to do that as well, because again, that's another place where we can get your contact information. One thing I highly recommend is that you take a little bit of time and go into your email app and you actually put my name and my email address in your address book, as well as Colleen's email and her name in your address book. It seems that when you do that, our emails are less likely to end up in junk or trash or clutter or things like that. So, hopefully that will get us in better communication with you. When we do send things out, we know we're sending them to the right address. In addition, as we will keep reiterating throughout this meeting, if you're just walking the dog one day and you're thinking, I haven't heard anything from confirmation, send us an email. Sometimes those little instincts are God moments that are telling us that maybe we don't have the right information, or for some reason we just aren't connecting right at that point. So that being said, we are going to get into our meeting. Like I said, it's not going to be an hour. It will be relatively brief, but we'll have some information. This is, again, this group was originally scheduled for when they were in 10th grade, fall of 2021. all of your teens actually will be celebrating confirmation in the spring of 2021. Today, we're going to go over what is left on the preparation end, a little bit about some sponsor, saint, and service submissions. Colleen will speak to the service. We'll get to some of that other stuff, and where we are in terms of the actual celebration dates and timeline for confirmation. So your preparation status, as we went through in some of the earlier meetings, there's two parts to preparation. There's the foundational part that was either achieved through attending EDGE or attending a Catholic school or participating in a hybrid school or a formal Catholic homeschooling curriculum. You have all that's all done. So we just wanted to let you all be aware that's done. And we're moving on to the next part of the preparation, which is what is called specific sacrament preparation. That preparation that is specific to confirmation. The last couple years, and if you were at one of the other meetings, you had heard us talk about attending the Hear My Voice conference that you were supposed to have attended this past spring, summer, that had to be canceled. We are unable to provide a live experience at this point. One, we don't know where the pandemic is headed. And we also did not want to put something in place, even for a smaller group of people, that unfortunately, if everything was going along, but your child had to be quarantined, that just, it's just not a good fit for us right now. So we are going to be using what is called the Greater Retreat. It is an online retreat. I am going to throw it to Colleen so she can give you a better picture of this. She used this earlier with great success. So Colleen, share with us all of that. Unmute.
I'm gonna apologize now. I have two dogs and one is a pup and he likes to let himself be known sometimes. So if he starts barking, I apologize. The Greater Retreat, it's an awesome thing. I'm gonna actually share with you a welcome video, but just to kind of give you a little idea as to where this came from. In March, obviously, like the rest of the world, we have some awesome and amazing youth ministers that are in Chattanooga, Tennessee. They actually used to be in Texas at a parish that had over 7,000 families. Humongous parish. They do things big in Texas. So they knew that there was a huge need and they had access to all sorts of speakers. So they have put this online retreat together. It's basically 4 weeks long. Each week has 4 videos. 3 are content and 1 is a specific type of prayer experience to ensure that all the teens are able to experience the different types that we can actually pray and worship, singing, Let It Go Divina, art. It's pretty awesome how they put it together. I'm gonna go ahead and share the video with you and just give you a few more details after that. If I can find where my video went. Oh, stop. Sorry, I gotta get back over there. There we go. There we go. There it is.
Hi, I'm Norelli Soto, and welcome to Greater, a confirmation retreat all online. Over the next 4 weeks, your teen is going to have the opportunity to listen to some great talks, to have some great prayer experiences, to journal out some answers, but most importantly of all, to have great conversations with you and their sponsor. Don't worry about where you are as a family. If this is awkward and strange to have a conversation about your faith and your journey right now, this is a great place to start. If this is a comfortable thing, you're used to it, you guys talk about your faith all the time. Fantastic. Here's an opportunity for you to go deeper. Wherever you are right now is the right place to start. Now, these next 4 weeks are gonna look like this. Every week, you're gonna get a topic. Every topic has 3 different 20-minute videos and 1 prayer reflection video. Along with this, your child's gonna have 6 questions on how to go deeper. 1 for every day, and then you get a day off. At the beginning of that week, you get an adult guide. That adult guide is your in onto what your teen is doing. You're gonna get background information on those speakers that are talking to your teens, ideas of what the topics are gonna be, and reflection questions for you to be able to discuss with your teen. Don't forget, there's another adult that should be having and engaging in conversations with them too, their sponsor. So if you choose to print this out and give them to them, or just simply download it and share it on the computer, let them and encourage them to engage in conversations with your teens. How is this retreat gonna look in your home? My best suggestion, sit back, get comfortable, and actually watch the videos along with your teen. When they're done watching the videos, pull out that adult guide and pull out those questions. Don't worry, these are not right or wrong, yes or no questions. These are questions meant to help them go deeper, figure out what it is that they learned and how does this apply to their lives. Stay open, stay positive. And if you stay positive and open, your teen, regardless of what they're showing on the outside, is more likely to stay positive and open too. Have faith. Believe that God has a plan for this journey for you, for your family, for the sponsor. On that note, thank you. Thank you for your support of the church, especially the youth. And thank you for being open to going along this journey and being on this greater experience. Please remember that you and your family were all created for something greater.
Okay. Hopefully you can hear me because my sound on my laptop isn't working very well. So the Greater Retreat, it's awesome. It's a good way to just kind of explore our faith. The topics are amazing. The speakers that do them are great. So the plan will be is I will actually host another live session to walk you through how to register for this online retreat. Parents, you are going to have to walk through it with them unless they already know who they want their sponsor to be. Their sponsor can walk through it with them. There are questions to create conversations to continue that growth. It isn't anything though that you can't manage. Trust me, you don't have to have a theology degree. You don't have to be working as Rose and Cindy and I have been doing for years in faith formation. We understand where our teens sit, and that's why this is such a great retreat. They have brought it to a level that they understand, and you will understand. You'll get a whole lot out of the videos. The last week will blow you away. 2 of those speakers are phenomenal. So it's awfully nice. We'll get you registered via a Zoom call. We'll walk you through how to do that. I will check in weekly with you. And then there will be a follow-up call, wrap-up call once the whole retreat is over. Just to let you know, and I'll rehash it again in January. I have a way to see where you are in the retreat, so I can tell if you're watching the videos or not. You have to watch the videos, because if you don't watch the videos, it doesn't move. And you actually have to watch the video, because there are 3 questions after each video asking you what your takeaway is. And it could be silly, as in, what was Katie Gray's daughter doing during the video? So it's not basically content. So we all should know the Jesus answer. It is what color are her glasses or whatnot. So it's just basic questions to really know that you are actually watching the videos. And I think you'll enjoy them. So I'll schedule a Zoom call in January before this so that we can walk through registering and everything. And then I know Rose mentioned the verification email. link. I'll put that in the chat later because I have to look it up while Rose is talking. But the idea will be that you get 4 weeks to do it, one of those, and then I'll give you that week of, if you go to public schools, half of you guys are on break, that your winter break. That'll give you extra time to wrap it if you need to. And then we will do actual online wrap-up calls, and either Father Paul or Avery will be on those calls with us, because there is still a little bit of stuff that we need to cover, which mainly is the actual rite itself, because it isn't just coming to mass at that point. So we'll follow up with you guys on that. But I think you'll enjoy it.
All right. So Colleen, if you want to flip up the slides again, just so that you guys have a visual for how that is going to be implemented. We are going to have, Colleen will be running parent-teen orientations in January. They will be virtual. And then the retreat we are scheduling to start January 24th. And so by going to those orientations, you'll see how that works. We're targeting the wrap up and the Zoom calls between February 24th and March the 3rd. So that is how that is going to work. That is going to be the specific sacrament preparation that all of you and your teens will be going through. And so look for that. That's why that communication is so important. You know, like we said, a lot of the challenge that we have on these Zoom calls is that we'll get an email when we finish this call that somebody just registered for this call at 9:32. And then at 9:35, they're like, I don't have the link to the call. We're already on the call, so it's really hard for us to go back and get these people back on there. So timing is important. So if the sooner you RSVP to things, the better chance we have of making sure you're going to get all the information. So the next thing is, as many of you know who have had older kids or have heard all about confirmation, there are 3 other components that typically go into confirmation traditionally. One is that you need a sponsor. The other one is typically you choose, your team chooses a saint name and their service. So I'm going to briefly go over this because for you, for this grade level, there's a few things that are of a timely manner. The sponsor form. Your teen should be choosing a sponsor. We are currently modifying and making sure that that form is current and up to date with what we need. There are requirements for the sponsor. A sponsor must be 16 years of age or older. They must be a fully initiated member of the Catholic Church. They must have received their sacraments of baptism, First Communion, and confirmation. A sponsor cannot be a parent. However, if your sponsor is unable to attend confirmation, a parent can stand in as their proxy. Okay, but the parent cannot be the sponsor. When your teen is thinking about their sponsor, we do encourage that you help your teen in this process. It is wonderful. Your teens have wonderful peers and wonderful friends, and a lot of times it seems like I want my friend to be my sponsor. They were just confirmed last year, and there's nothing wrong with that if you truly discern that that person is going to be somebody that continues in their person's life. So for some of you, you may have a friend from high school that you still are in communication with, that you still use in your support system. You know, my sister has a friend from high school. Their sponsor connection is still strong. A lot of times, though, we recommend that the sponsor be at least 4 or 5 years older than your teen, because you are looking for this person to be a spiritual support for your child, not just for this day, but as they walk through the journey of life, kind of like the godparent at baptism. A godparent at baptism is chosen because you were looking for this person to support you and your child in a spiritual way, not just on that day, but throughout their life. I mean, let's think about it. When you had your child baptized and now they're celebrating First Communion, all of you, I'm sure, invited the godparents to the First Communion because they are part of that spiritual support for your child. It is also because of that is typically the recommendation of the Catholic Church at large, that if at all possible, your child's sponsor for confirmation is their godparent from baptism. Sometimes that's a great and wonderful thing. Sometimes, as I say, for 3 of my kids, the person I chose to be their godparent, I would not recommend to be their sponsor. But that is something that as your child goes through this process of deciding who they want for their sponsor, you are allowed to get involved in that and help them discern a person that will be with them as they continue this journey through life. The reason we bring up sponsor form is because once you choose that sponsor, that person needs to have a form submitted to their parish. That's the third part. They should be active and practicing Catholic. They should be active in a parish. They should be registered in a parish. Makes the process a whole lot easier. So what they do is they take this form and they give it to their parish, their pastor, they sign it and get it back to us. So there's a little bit of turnaround time. So when we look at our calendar, we're going to decide on the dates we need this information. Don't look at the deadline as, oh, I got to fill in that sponsor form tonight because they're due tomorrow. The sponsor form will take approximately 2 to 3 weeks for the turnaround. Okay. So you got to look at that deadline that we give you for paperwork and say, I need to get this sponsor form to Aunt Susie probably about a month ahead of time. So we will get you the forms, the blank form in plenty of time for you to complete that process, but know that does take a little bit of time. A saint name. Traditionally, and it's a little t tradition in the Catholic Church, you choose a saint name. The teens choose a saint that reflects maybe values that they want to emulate throughout their life, values that inspire them, virtues from the saint that they call upon. The reason I say this is a little t tradition is that it is not required to have and choose a saint name. That is not a formal part of the confirmation rite. People are confirmed without having to choose a saint name. And the reason we bring this up is because sometimes this becomes more of a point of contention at home, that it becomes a task that maybe keeps getting put off. And so instead of embracing this opportunity, it becomes a source of contention. It should never be that. So as I say to parents and teens, we do what's important to us. If your teen truly does have a desire to choose a saint name, to investigate saints and look at their virtues and things that they can emulate, that is wonderful. And for sure, pick a saint name. If this is just not a big part of what your child's faith journey is like, it's okay for them to just have their own baptismal name as their confirmation name. And in fact, again, going back to the tie between baptism and confirmation, The Catholic Church actually recommends that the person's confirmation name is their baptismal name. The saint name is something that started as a little T tradition, and it grew, and it's a wonderful, beautiful thing if it speaks to you. If it doesn't speak to you, it's okay. Now, there will be some kind of reflection, even if they choose their own baptismal name. So as I say, they're not getting out of, if they don't choose a saint name, they're getting out of this part. There will be something that will be part of whatever name they use for confirmation. That will be coming up again as we get farther along in the process. But just wanted to put that out there. Like I said, what we've been finding more and more with our confirmandi who are 10th graders is they're busy, and this just looks like something else they got to do. So the whole reason and purpose behind it is getting lost. So we wanted to put that out there. And if you happen to have conversations with your teens and you want to throw that in to see where they are on this particular point in our faith, probably a good time to do that. Many of you have asked and know about service. Service is a huge part of our Catholic identity. I am going to let Colleen speak to service because I know some of you have already completed this part. And for those who haven't, how does this look now in this new time?
So in September sometime, I sent a just an status update email. If you didn't get it, don't remember it, it's all good. Over the Thanksgiving week, I will take the time to resend all of that information. Half of you have completed the service experience. Your kids came with me, it's all done, they're all good. Half of you still need to complete a service experience, and unfortunately, in today's situation, that's an extremely difficult thing to do. So I can't just load up a bunch of kids and take them in a car and go do service somewhere. Places are either requiring you to be 18, or I just can't fit 5 kids socially distanced 6 feet in my Tahoe. So I know that the majority of you, all of your kids, either for their National Honor Society, Scouts, all of the other various things that they do, have had some sort of service that they've done in the last 6 months to a year. So I will send you a link for them to watch a video or two and then complete some reflections and tell me a little bit more details as to what they did. And if we need to go further from that, we will. If they have not done anything, don't worry, because Colleen and Rosemary and Cindy, we've got things that they can help us with, or I have lots of places to guide you to that they're welcoming families, just not a lot of individuals. So there are things that we can get you to do for the service reflection and complete that. What we were doing is we were going as a group. So then that way, after, I would actually have a conversation with those that were with me about our mission as Catholics and how we are called to serve not only just our community at large, but our family and also our parish. As Catholics, that's part of our mission, is to be involved in all of those various ways. So I'll get that to you over Thanksgiving break. And then if you have questions, or if you have questions now, feel free to email me. It may take me a day or two to get back to you because we've got multiple meetings this weekend, but I will gladly reply to you. And that would be it for service.
That's it for submissions. All right, moving on. The next thing was the celebration of the sacrament. Right now, we are currently working with the Archdiocese to have our celebration in mid to late April. And I'll just read the PowerPoint and then I'll go on. We most likely will have one weekday evening and one weekend mass from which to choose. When we got approval for this transition, and we, as the Archbishop asked, he would like the transition to occur meaningfully, however, somewhat expediently. So the way this works is that we don't actually call the bishop and say, okay, you're coming on this and this day. We submit a series of dates to the bishop, and then they get back to us to tell us when they will be able to be here to celebrate the sacrament. So we submit a series of dates, which we have done, but we have not yet heard back as far as what the bishops can do. Because we are in this transition and because we are in this pandemic, the bishops cannot be at every confirmation at this point. So what may happen is that we may have a bishop at one of the masses, but we may have Monsignor at the other one, as the bishops will give Monsignor the faculties to actually confer the sacrament. So we are currently working on that. You know, that is our plan for right now, is to have 2 confirmation masses. We may have to have more, as we did in August, because of, again, safely distancing people, keeping our bishop as safe as we can, and other things. So that is the best I can tell you right now. We are hoping that in the next couple weeks, those dates are secured and we are able to get you that information. One of the other things I'll tell you is that when we finish these meetings sometime next week, we will be writing up a summary of these meetings so that we can get everybody a hard copy of the information that we've been talking about. And again, allowing you guys to contact us with any questions. So that is it. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them. If not, as I said, the communication thing is really important. So, you know, I keep seeing a few people pop up that they haven't received anything. Have a process to see how that works. So we want to make sure we're using the right email addresses. A lot of times on those JOT forms, when we send them, we send an acknowledgement. There is an automatic acknowledgement that, yep, your form was submitted. If you don't get that acknowledgement, there's a good chance that there was a typo in your email. Because a lot of times what happens is, especially for these meetings, you fill in those JOT forms, we swipe down the distribution list. If there was a typo in that, you're not going to get what you need to get. So always look for that acknowledgement. And if you don't get it, send us an email, because there might have been a disconnect there. Somebody
Rose,
had
I
asked.
do have a question.
Sure.
Are there stipulations on who will be able to come to the mass, number of people? Will it be recorded, live streamed?
Okay, great question. Right now, we don't know what April will look like. However, it is looking more and more, just from what I can gather, that we will still be under some kind of protocol that we cannot gather 400 people in the church. We still may be under the 200 person limit. What we did in August, we had approximately 200 candidates. We don't have that many this year coming up, but we're not that much less. Let me put it that way. We had 4 confirmation masses. At that time, because of the number of people that were able to be in the church, we could only have the candidate, the sponsor, and the parents. We did live stream the masses. So every mass was live streamed so that all the people at home and far away could watch the live stream. We don't know, now that we've opened up the parish hall for additional seating for the 4 o'clock, that may change things. We may be able to have people sitting in the parish hall watching the stream that is coming from the church. But I can't really guarantee anything. Okay, how many people can attend right now? If we base it on we really don't know. All we can do for the last set of confirmations, we were only able to have the parents, the candidate, and the sponsor. Do we hope we can open it up for more? We absolutely do. But we are guided by not only the directives of the CDC and the Public Health Department, the Archdiocese may set limits on us because of trying to maintain the safety of the bishops and the priests who will be in attendance. Hopefully that helps. And as soon as we know, we'll let you know. All righty. Any other questions? All right. Well, go enjoy this beautiful weekend. Oh my goodness.
One more question. The
One
answer
more.
to that is if we can't invite large members of our family to come with us, are you allowed to delay? Yes, we
Yep.
completely understand that. And yes.
Yes, you can. And there are many people, and we saw this a lot for First Communion. And we have had people who were celebrating First Communion who were supposed to celebrate in April. When we announced it in July, delay. We are still in the same situation. They said, we'll do the November. In the November, we are still in the same situation we were in April. So you can delay. It is up to you. I do though want to say that the sacraments convey graces, and those graces have meaning and they have effect. There comes a time where we encourage you to look at both. We want these to be beautiful family celebrations. And you can certainly delay. But I can't guarantee that by delaying 6 months, it's going to look any different. So, just at some point, let your kid the graces of the sacrament. There's that.
Awesome.
All right.
I
All
think
right,
that's
everybody.
it.
We'll be in touch
Have a
and
great weekend, guys.
have a great weekend. Get out in this fresh air.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.